wanted to kill myself 2021. I'd got to that point of just, I've had enough. That I was a fat cunt who needed to die. Something snapped and it just went like, no, not happening. You're going to do something about this. Fuck them.
No, we can't. That was a problem.
That is the problem. You can't have time to your life, but you can add life to your time.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to today's episode of Crying in the DMs. I'm joined today by Jamie, a talking therapist turned influencer whose account, 300 Days to See My Willy, is gaining traction day to day today. Jamie, it's fantastic to have you in the studio with us today.
Thank you.
I think what you're doing is phenomenal. You're putting a funny gauge on losing weight, which is going to attract more blokes than the usual shit that's online. How interesting are you as a person? Fucking hell, man.
Hopefully very. Yeah, I think men don't talk about these things. So it's trying to open up that conversation and trying to get people to feel a bit more comfortable to maybe step forward and do 100%. Something.
I honestly, I want to pick your brain so bad today. I'm going to pick your brain because I think what a clever way to get men involved, not only in weight loss and image, you know, changing their image in a positive way, but taking back control of their life, you know, fully taking back control of their life, but starting from the outside in. Because we know with a lot of men, starting from the inside out, that ain't going to work.
No.
You know what I mean? The way you've put this across is so brilliant online as well. 300 Days to See My Willy. Well, how did you come up with that?
It just came into my head. I've been thinking of doing something, but I just couldn't work it out. And I was just sitting there and I thought, when's the end of the year? And it was 300 and something days. I went, right, 300 days, let's make it that. And then I went, what do I want to do? And I just thought, I just want to look down and see me willy. So I thought, that's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah, 300
and
days
just did
to see
it.
Willy.
And I was going for a meal, was in the kitchen before I went, I literally recorded a 30-second video, put it on, walked out, and I woke up the next morning and it just gone a little bit crazy.
Godspeed, man, Godspeed. Do you reckon it hit boom straight away because it hit boom straight away? Do you know what I mean?
I think so. I think it was one of them things where it was kind of, there was the funny element to it, but then it was also, I think a lot of people would have gone, oh, I get that.
I think humour helps people to take it in. Well, it does help people. Neurobiologically, it helps people to take it in. You know, when you see something really serious on the internet, you're inclined to tune out if you're already in a terrible place. You know, unless you have part of you that wants to make yourself feel worse, which sometimes we do. Do you know what I mean?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, been there, done that. Got that T-shirt, sold that T-shirt by a crack rock. But you know, it's important to have this humorous side so that people that don't want to sit and wallow in self-pity externally but are internally going, oh, every day's shit, every day's the same, they can have a little giggle but then also go, I wonder what you're talking about though, because that seems to make a lot of sense. I get it a lot with my content where people go, oh, it's really funny how you said that, it was fucking really hilarious, but at the same time they're the same. Do you know what I mean?
It hits.
Yeah, it hits. And especially the one where you were talking about your bits not working, you know. Talk us through that, because a lot of men are going to watch this and they're going to go, I wouldn't put that on the internet. Why did you?
Why not?
Mic drop.
Why not? Because it's something that people in like a normal sized body go through it as well. Like, so many men go through it where you get that performance anxiety or something. And then when you're in a bigger body, sometimes you've just got the strain that you're putting on your body. Yeah. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. And it's like a toss coin.
Well, it's like a cycle, isn't it?
What's going to happen? And then you can get in psychological in your mind of, well, it's not going to work, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. So then even if it would, it's not going to now, because you've literally told yourself, the language you're telling yourself is don't work, don't work, don't work. So it just goes, okay.
That's it. It's like NLP, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you've programmed yourself to believe it's not going to work 50% of the time, so it's not going to work 50% of the time.
Yeah.
I think it is that insecurity though, isn't it? Of I'm already not like everyone else, you know. I already stand out because of my stature, my size. I already don't feel good within myself, and now my dick isn't working. Do you reckon more men are insecure about their size than actually let on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's what I just think there's so many things that men don't talk about. And it's starting to, like, men are now talking about the mental health and stuff, which is great, but the kind of the body side of things is the thing that is not yet really being spoken about. You see bodybuilders sometimes talking about how when they lose that much weight that they sort of suffer with things not working, like the hormones go off and everything like that. So you kind of get a little bit of element of it. But then for people who are like obese, morbidly obese, there's not really that same conversation. There's not as much kind of focus put on what are they going through, what's day to day like for them.
I think it's just a stigma of them. You're just a fat person, so you're going to be sad. It's that old thing, isn't it? Do you remember when they were like, oh, if you're going to be fat, at least be fat and happy, or at least be fat and funny, that sort of thing. Do you reckon that's really ricocheted now into big men literally will not tell you that they're insecure? They'll put it as like a character trait almost.
Yeah, because you hide behind it. You mask behind this facade, this personality that you want people to see, but it's not the real you.
Now, the bigger you are as well, yeah.
But sometimes the bigger you are, the smaller you are inside. You're so scared to talk about anything, to say anything, to raise things, because you just think someone's maybe just go, well, because you're fat. It's your fault.
Yeah. For example, you go into a gym and you're a bigger guy. Would you say that insecurity hits you straight away, or would you say, you know, it's performance anxiety of like, can I use the machinery? What happens as a bigger guy when you walk into the gym?
It definitely does, and you see people look. I don't think people are intentionally going, oh my God, look at him. They just see you and go, oh. And some people will go, amazing, he's come to the gym. Yeah. To try and like change his life and things like that. And some people might just be like, fucking hell, size of him. But you can't control what other people are going to do. So if you're going to go in and do it, it has to be for you. It has to not be for some other thing, or you're trying to please someone else or do something. If you're going to go and do it, you have to do it for yourself, because if you're not doing it for yourself, you're never going to do it.
100%. And you have to understand there's always going to be bystanders. There's going to be people that are going to watch, because that's what they're going to do, aren't they? Everyone looks, in some ways, 9 out of 10 people are going to try and compare themselves to you, but that's because 9 out of 10 people have the same sort of insecurity. It's just a different area on the spectrum, isn't it? Like, I think everyone in some way, shape or form is insecure about the way that they look. And some people will deny it, but I think that's true.
I don't think I've met anyone that's not insecure about something about how they look, how they are.
Were you always a big guy?
No, when I was a kid, I was ridiculously thin.
Really?
Up until like 16, I was like a rake, and then I think I moved out. I got access to food, I got access to my own money, and then throw trauma in, and then food became my kind of rescue.
Your coping mechanism.
When I felt bad, I ate.
That
just for 20 years, that's built up, and here we are.
You're changing it now. You say here we are. What I'm seeing in front of me is a bloke with a healthier mindset day to day that is reducing in size but gaining in, you know, confidence and structure within your life. It can't occur when there's no structure in your mind. And I'm going to say this as I am also on a health journey at the minute, right? The bigger I was, the more my life was in jeopardy, in chaos, was non-structured whatsoever. Okay, would you say that people that are bigger externally and aren't looking after themselves, I'm not saying this because of a thyroid problem, don't fucking start internet, right? People that, because of how much they consume, right, are bigger, would you say that their life is 9 times out of 10 in jeopardy as well, not controlling it?
Yeah, because you haven't got control, because you're using food or other things as a means to kind of escape from the things that you're not really facing, that you need to face.
Totally agree.
And the longer that goes on, the bigger you get, the harder it gets, the more you eat, and you're just in this cycle that you can't get out of. And 10, 15, 20 years later, you've got that big that you're now kind of like, you look back at photos and go, I thought I was fat then. I'd love to go back to like that size. I wasn't fat, but I thought I was. But you get it in your head, and it just sort of builds up and keeps going.
So it's like the internal issues that go on, you start projecting them, it becomes your image.
Yeah.
I think that's true, because I think it is an addiction. You know, and an addiction is anything that takes you outside of yourself, and as you say, you're eating to escape. So that is an addiction. And when we go through any addiction, that addiction takes control, and it does start to represent on the external as well. Okay. For example, if we do cocaine, after a while, you're going to start looking like you do cocaine. Do you know what I mean? If you drink a lot, you're going to start looking like you drink a lot. And it's the same with eating. But when I've spoken to people before, especially in the nutritionalist environment, okay, and I've said to them, I don't believe this is a problem with my eating. I believe this is a problem with my mentality and my structure. They've said, no. Your responsibility here is to look after you. My responsibility is to look after your food. And they've emphasised that they're just there for the food.
What I've learned is my relationship with food was very toxic. And I've spent the last 6 months working on that with someone, and it's significantly better, which has given me a better mindset and things. But I wouldn't say I'm addicted to food. I think I was addicted to the feeling that the food gave me.
100%.
So it was... The food allowed me to feel safe. It allowed me to feel in control when I wasn't in control. But for 5 or 10 minutes, I felt good because I was giving myself this thing, the dopamine chasing was on such a high level that if I shoveled food in, for a minute I felt great. But then 10 minutes later, you feel horrendous because you realise what you've just done.
So it's like any addiction, and it hits you afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever been and you've eaten and then you feel totally guilty afterwards?
I wouldn't say guilty.
What is the after feeling then? You know, you say you feel awful afterwards. What is that after feeling?
I don't feel guilty for doing it, but I think like, shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But you keep doing it. Why do you keep doing it?
It vindicates you a little bit.
And you start to learn little bits of why you're doing it, but you kind of lock it away in a box and you just go, I don't want to deal with that. I'll leave that.
You know, like with other addictions where you always have a poison of choice, right? Is there one with food? Is there something that you know you would absolutely smash fucking loads of?
Crisps.
Really? So many people say that, you know.
Yeah,
so
like a 24 bag of crisps gone.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How long did it take you?
20 minutes.
And do you feel ill afterwards? What? Is that when that remorse hits you? Yeah, that's when that remorse hits you. And you're sort of looking around like, because it's important to say it in this way, isn't it? It's like looking around like an addict. And you're looking around and say you decided to do a load of drugs and you're looking around at the empty pill boxes, or you're looking around, there's a pipe there, you're looking around there. You're just sat with your own rubble, aren't you?
Yeah, on the coffee table and there's a mountain of crisp packets
Wow.
that have just been demolished, and they might stay there for 2 or 3 days because I don't want to accept what I've done.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know it's there, but I don't want to do it. And then finally, when I say, right, I'm going to clean it up, is that realisation of, what the fuck have you done?
Yeah. Do you think that's why people that have, you know, eating addictions tend to also have either really clean homes because they're hiding it, or there's a mess because they're overstimulated and they can't focus on cleaning their environment because their head's such a mess?
Personally, probably more of a mess. Like, I find keeping on top of things can get difficult because you putting it off, you're procrastinating so much because you're getting other ways of fulfillment. Like, you can watch the telly, you can scroll on your phone, and you're like, oh no, I need to clean up, but I'll leave that, and then it's like a week, 2 weeks later, and then finally someone goes home coming round and you're like, shit.
You know, I had a really cool conversation with a guy that is one of my clients about procrastination the other day. Because he said to me, the one thing, because we've been coaching now for about 11 weeks, he said to me, the one thing that I still haven't hacked, Sara, is procrastination. I can still sit there. And I said to him, you do realise procrastination is literally just you choosing to do nothing, because now you have the responsibility where you can choose to do nothing. Like, because when you were younger, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't do nothing. You know, when you were younger, you had to do everything. You had to be responsible. You had to mind other people's emotions, you know, keep yourself how they wanted you to, mold yourself in that way. So now you have the choice as an adult to do nothing. It feels like strength to do nothing. It feels like a win to do nothing, that you're not going to get shouted at from behind you. You're not going to get smacked. You're not going to get pushed. You're not going to get belted, whatever it is, for doing nothing. You can just do nothing. So your brain has, over time, created a circuitry that doing nothing is having your own sense of self. You know, doing nothing is strength. Doing nothing is rational thinking, when in reality it's not.
No.
So all you've got to think every time you go to procrastinate is, this isn't actually my choice. You know, I don't want to choose to procrastinate. You know, I think I'm making a conscious choice to procrastinate, but I'm not. I'm letting the little person in me that doesn't pay these bills, doesn't do my job, doesn't live my life, to feel safe for 2 minutes because we're procrastinating our choice. Instead of going, no, we are cleaning up because now we have a house, we have a whole life, we've built all this out of choice, we did all this, and we're not going to allow that little tiny bit of discipline that we were told we lacked as a child to come back and bite us now and make us an undisciplined adult. Yeah. And he went and did the dishes. Winner.
You can do it. I've tried to be bored more recently. So I'll walk without any music. I'll drive the car without any music. I'll just sit in silence.
Yeah, zero stimulation.
That many things going on. And it's going back to that thing of, like, I remember before phones, before computers, like when you were kids, you just played out and did stuff. Yeah. You were stimulated in the right ways, whereas now there's so much stuff. So I'm trying to reteach myself to just be bored.
Yeah, just be bored. People don't like being bored though. That's again why overeating's a thing. I work from home, so I got quite big, and I'm coming down. I've lost 5.5 stone. Not bad, that is it? Doing all right, yeah. Because I realised I was literally eating all day, every day, but just for something to do with my hands. Yeah. If I wasn't eating, I was smoking. If I wasn't smoking, I was vaping, because we're so used to being stimulated like this
Yeah.
all day, that now our hands want to be stimulated. Right? It's very odd, isn't it? And I dread to think what the human race will look like in 100 years when we've had a few more goes at, because obviously it's survival of the fittest. We adapt to our environment. Are we going to end up with webbed fucking hands so we can hold an iPhone better?
I mean, have you seen Wally?
Don't wind me up.
I don't think we'll go to that. I think you can see there's like the younger generation now are trying to use dumb phones and things, like they seem to have seen the damage it's caused.
Yeah.
And are trying to do something about it. So I think there is this kind of balance that's maybe going to come in.
There's a shift, isn't there?
Yeah.
You can see the shift, but you've got half of them that are... Because I remember when I was younger, I never aspired to be a social media influencer. I didn't even know it was a thing. I had a Pixar account. Do you know what I mean? And a MySpace.
I had MSN.
Yeah,
and
MSN, yeah. I didn't aspire to be a social media influencer, whereas now 1 in like 5 people will tell you they would like to be an influencer. That's a crazy stat.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to influence?
I think they see the lifestyle that maybe someone's living and think, oh, I want that. But what they also don't see is what that might have took that person. That might have took 5-10 years to get to that.
100%, 5, 10, 15. Or it could just be bollocks.
Yeah.
People go and take pictures in fake jets. No, I swear to God they do.
No, they do. I know, because we know someone who hires out.
Yeah.
Like 3 seats or something.
Do we know the same
person? You see them there, and it's just like... But they make out online to all... And it's generally men doing it to young men. I mean, there's that whole Louis Theroux thing that come out. But
well, that's it, yeah. It's young men teaching young men, you should be more manly like this. And they're taking a picture in a fake jet.
They're just chatting shit.
Chatting shit with rented clothes on.
Yeah.
Like a Jag Moncler and a big fat fake Rolex on a pretend jet.
Go on the job centre to sign on a Thursday. Which is what some of them are doing. They're on benefits, but then they're trying to portray this amazing life that they're living.
Crazy life,
and I think probably they need to go and do some work because they're trying to cover up for something that they've got deficient in their lives.
Do you think that this whole big masculine spin that's now out there of you've got to earn all the money, you've got to dress in a certain way, you've got to look in a certain way, do you think it's actually stopping men from feeling masculine and therefore stopping them from improving their mental state?
If you are easy to be influenced, you can buy into that hype of you have to be this certain way, you have to wear this certain brand, you have to have this certain thing. But then when you speak to people who've had all of that, and they tell you and go, yeah, I wish I'd not bought that car, I wish I'd not bought that watch, because it just means nothing. And they realise that if they've got money and things, what it's allowed them to then do is have time with friends and family, and that's where they feel rich, is that they're able to have experiences in life over having things.
Yeah.
And I think it's that realisation of there are things I can do in my life that are not really going to cost money.
100%. But these young lads that are looking at these influencers online, they don't have the money yet.
No, I mean, they need to put the phones down and go and live. Go and do something, go and find a hobby, go and find community and things like this. And what they'll actually find is there's this whole other world out there, outside of people wearing fake Rolexes and then fake jets, trying to sell them this dream, or buy my course for £100 a month and I'll teach you how to do this.
Yeah, buy my course, buy my male entrepreneurship course.
Yeah, and let's just go on TikTok and stream for 10 hours a day or something.
Yeah,
that's all the selling.
That's
but
all the selling.
These lads are buying into it, and every now and again one of them will actually make it, and they're then that sort of test subject of, oh look, Dave's done this, and he's making 20 grand a month, look what he's doing, and he's living his life, and they can see his profile. And they then go, yeah, this works. And it's like, no, that's 1 in 1,000 people.
Yeah, 1 in 1,000 people.
Actually made it happen.
That's it. That's like what they do with the fat coaching, isn't it? I see a lot of personal trainers and weight loss coaches, especially male weight loss coaches at the minute, where you can tell they're using AI. And now Instagram's caught up and it will say AI on the top of it on a lot of the images. And there's a particular weight loss coach, I won't name them, right? But I was looking through his post a couple of weeks ago, and he never used to say AI on the top, so it must have only just updated or something. And now, as you go through, every other post says AI, and it's like, oh, you've been flogging courses to people, and a lot of these pictures were AI. That to me doesn't feel right. Whereas I like what you're doing, because you're there going, look, I'm obviously not the epitome of male standard right now. Do you know what I mean? But what the fuck is a male standard? Follow me and I'll show you how to do it for real. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's so important, because I know when I was a young girl, my favourite person to look up to was Alison Hammond. You know, off Good Morning now. I think it's on Good Morning Britain, right? Because we met her once in a hotel in Tunisia when she worked as a rep, right? My nan called her Ali Bally Whammy. Don't know why. But I used to follow everything she did. I still do. I say I used to. Like, I don't still follow her religiously now, right? Not religiously. That'd be weird. But I follow her a lot.
Little shrine in the corner.
Yeah, more often than not, I follow her. No. And it was because she had such a real body.
Yeah.
And she was a real person, and she had curly hair, and I had curly hair. Do you know what I mean? And she had the larger nose, and I have a larger nose. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. And she looked how other celebrities didn't look. You know, and because I'd seen her go from rep in Tunisia to successful personality, it meant more than just seeing someone blow up that's fucking perfect anyway. Do you know what I mean? And she wasn't the ideal presenter. She laughed too loudly, and she used to make a show of herself all the time, if you don't remember. But I think
that's probably a selling point. I remember that the key one is when she interviewed Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
And it is just... Harrison Ford doesn't laugh, and he's in tears, crying, laughing.
That's what I mean.
And it's that personality that comes across of, okay, yeah, she might be in a bigger body, but there's more to her.
She's a normal person.
That. And she's able to, like, engage, and she's really good at her job.
She cares.
Because of who she is, not because of how she looks.
That's it. And I think that's something that's really important about what you're doing. Because you're not just saying to people, follow me, I'm losing weight. You're saying, follow me, I'm taking back control.
Yeah.
What does taking back control mean?
It's trying to find all of those areas that are not working and do something about them. All them things that have been ignored for years, for decades, and go in, draw a line in the sand, do something about it, because without dealing with them, it's not going to work. I've tried to lose weight a million times. I've done every diet you can think of, but I wasn't dealing with the issues that were causing it. So I was going, I need to lose weight, but to lose the weight, I needed to deal with a load of things. And I was like, well, I don't need to do them. I just need to lose weight, because it's just, well, if the scale's going down, everything's great.
Yeah.
But you're ignoring this big pile of shit in the corner that is just going to come back and hit you again, and hit you again, and hit you again, until you go, okay, I need to deal with that now.
So what is it you're dealing with as well as the weight?
Childhood trauma, depression, did have a really poor food relationship, which is better. I have much better respect for myself. The language I used to use was disgusting, how I talk about myself.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the worst thing you've ever said about yourself?
That I was a fat cunt who needed to die.
Mate. Well, I strongly disagree with that.
So do I now.
Good. Glad we're in agreement.
But it's some kind of the relationship you have with yourself and the things that you need to deal with. If you don't deal with them, they're just there. They're not going to go away.
Yeah.
And you might have these little moments of, I've lost like, a couple of stone here, a couple of stone there, but then put it all back on again, then some more, and then try to go again. And it's like, I know I can lose weight, but I get to a point where I get overwhelmed with it all, because all of the other stuff starts coming in then.
That's it.
And I've not built that resilience in myself to be able to deal with it all.
100%. I talk to my mindset clients about this, because a lot of them that come to me, they're like, oh, and I'll probably lose some weight through this, won't I? Because, you know, they've seen a couple of images or whatever on the internet of where my clients have gone from like bigger to smaller, and they're like, how are they losing that weight when they're going from, because obviously I'm not a weight loss coach, I do mindsets, and I'm like, listen, you have to create the environment to lose weight. You have to create the environment to lose stress. You have to create the environment to lose sleep. It just depends how you're creating that environment, what variables are in your environment. You know, like my clients don't set out to lose weight when they do mindset coaching. They actually, no, some of them will. Some of them will be doing weight loss alongside it. But generally, they don't set out to lose weight. It will just happen because their cortisol will reduce. They'll find more routine. They gain more regulation. And then when they're more routine, they're more regulated, they're happier, they are naturally then making better choices, because when your self-respect increases, you don't want to shove rubbish into yourself and sit like a fucking, you know, big fat lummox all day. You want to get up, you want to move, you want to be happy. The better you feel, the more you want to go outside and show people that you feel good.
Yeah, I think of what would the ideal version of me do. So I think I'd like to be going to the gym. I'd like to be walking. I'd like to be more active. I'd like to be eating better. There's nothing stopping me doing them things now. Just because I've got a lot of weight on me doesn't mean I can't do that. Some of it's harder to do, because the weight on the body size can get in the way a bit, but it doesn't stop me doing it. Instead of going, I'm going to lose weight, I'm like, well, no, I'm going to live like the person I want to be. And if I follow that enough, the rest of it's going to sort of happen in the background.
I always say to my clients, don't think about what you're going to lose. Think about what you're going to gain.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's not I'm going to lose weight. It's I'm going to gain self-respect. Right? It's not I'm going to eat less. It's I'm going to treat myself better.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to make sure that I'm looking after me in a way that I look after everybody else in my life. Like, how can you be a big, massive people pleaser, but then look at yourself like you're a big, massive waste of space?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're pleasing the whole world, but you're forgetting your world starts internally all the time. I always have this argument with clients because they're like, I don't know how I'm going to feel better by the end of this. All I'm doing is I've done so much therapy. I've done so much this. I've done so much that. And I think, but you've never created the environment to feel better. You've been talking about how you want to feel better. That's great.
Yeah.
What's the environment though? You know, are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough vegetables? What are your vitamin levels like? Are you sleeping okay? Do you wash every day? You know, because just going and eating 3 meal preps a day isn't going to do it. You know, what is your environment at home like? Do you need to clean your bedroom first before you can have a good night's sleep? You know, do we start with the eating, or do sometimes we have to sort of, because I don't think we start with the eating. I think sometimes to lose weight, you have to go, right, what the fuck is my house doing?
I think before you even try to lose the weight, you should be looking at everything else first.
Yeah.
So if you've got a lot of weight to lose, just find out what your maintenance is and sit at that for 6 weeks. Don't worry about the weight for now. Work on what's everything else.
The environment.
Is your home clean? What's your shopping like? What type of food are you bringing in? How often are you eating? Are you making sure that you're eating enough? You're eating the right type of food? All of these kind of things. Once you've got that sorted, the headspace you've just cleared up will allow you then to go, okay, I'm going to work on the weight loss, but all of them things you've just built into your habits are going to help you do it anyway. You're not going to have to do much else. It's just going to do its own thing. And if you've got a lot of weight to lose, in some ways it's easier because you don't have to go into as big like a calorie deficit and things.
Yeah.
It will just happen. Whereas if you've only got a little bit of weight to lose, it can be harder because it's much more restrictive.
Yeah. Well, it's down to the neuroplasticity, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, your brain is trying to work out how to make you the healthiest, happiest version, but it's constantly contending with keeping you alive. And whatever rules and regulations you've set in place for yourself, you know, neurologically, that are keeping you alive. For example, I must eat in order to feel happy. Your brain does not want to make you depressed. You know, its job is to keep you alive.
Yeah.
And if it feels like this is good, because depression, obviously, it triggers a chemical reaction in the body that your body thinks is a threat. Do you know what I mean? That's why it ends up in the panic attacks, shit like that, right? So if your body goes, oh my God, we're not eating, we must be starving, this must mean that there is a predator. If there is a predator, we must go into threat mode, right? Once your heart starts that palpitation, once you start getting that adrenaline through your body, when better than to exercise than them? Sometimes I say to my clients, it is about working with the horrible chemical reactions as well. If you know that you going on a diet is going to trigger you with anxiety because your body's going to think you're in a threat loop, okay? Then it is your responsibility to boost that adrenaline up, do some fast running, do some heavy lifting, you know what I mean? And then calm yourself back down.
Yeah.
Show your brain that you are not only going to allow it to feel those things, but you're going to control those things as well. And that was where it comes back to what you were saying before of taking back control. Yeah. You are literally taking back control of everything going on in your body and, you know, the size of your body alongside.
Yeah, you're telling your body and your brain, I'm the boss. You're going to listen to me. And we might stumble through it, but we're going to get to where we want to get to.
When did you realise, hey, I'm addicted to food here?
I think I've always known I've had issues with food. I guess the last 5 years where I've kind of been trying to change things and work on things because I think I wanted to kill myself 2021. I'd got to that point of just, I've had enough. And it was like a light bulb moment. So maybe some people it's like, yeah, I want to do it. For me, it was like, fuck that, don't want to do that.
Yeah.
My brain had just gone like a risk assessment. Has just gone, no, we're not doing that. So what we're going to do instead is start working on these things. So that was your rock bottom then? Yeah.
Why did you decide you wanted to off-ski planet Earth?
I just had enough. There were so many things I'd not dealt with. And it just, the weight of all of that self-fulfilling prophecy thing.
Your
and
internal situation was then projecting externally, and you were like, oh my God.
You just feel like you can't win. You feel like your back's against the wall. There's nothing you can do. And you just think, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to wake up again tomorrow because I just can't do this. But luckily for me, when that thought came into my head, something snapped and it just went like, no, not happening. You're going to do something about this.
Wow.
And it's took me like 5 years. I don't implement things very quickly.
Best things take time, brother.
And I fail a lot. A fucking lot. But like your video the other day.
You need more losses than wins. You need more losses than wins.
And then the more times you lose, suddenly you start stacking them wins then because you've failed that many times and you've learned that much.
You've never failed once in your life. Shut up. Promise you. Sorry to stop you in that, in that kind of way, but shut up, man. You have never failed once in your life. I promise you. Anything that's gone wrong, it was meant to. You can't fail. People have such a common misconception that if you don't get something correct, then you failed. That is the byproduct of trying things. It's either going to go right or it's going to go wrong, but it's not a failure because you're just adding statistically to what you already know is going to work and isn't going to work. So by the time you get to the winning stand, by the time you stand up and you've got gold, you can then look back and instead of looking at all the people that are still trying to get there and thinking, I'm ahead of you, you can then take responsibility to correct what they're doing. Because you've had all the statistical evidence then, what works and what doesn't. No one gets dragged out the pit to just watch other people try and get out. We all have to help people out. And you need that statistical evidence. You need that empirical evidence to know what worked for you and what didn't. So you can go and take people back out the pit. It's not a failure. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's a success if it goes wrong, because at least you learn that it doesn't work. You've successfully assessed the situation. At what point do you reckon you realised this is not just about losing weight, this is about my identity?
Last year.
What happened?
I started to surround myself with people that I looked up to. I started putting myself in rooms with people that were a couple of steps ahead of me. Started to learn stuff, to learn things about myself, things that they were doing that I could take and then start implementing them things. And that's what's kind of, I guess, put fuel in the fire a little bit, because I've learned from people, seeing how they operate, seeing how they do things, and it's kind of given me that push then to go, you can do this. It's
such a good mindset to have, isn't it? People that just want to hang around with people lower than them or on par with them. I always think, why are you so terrified about being in rooms where you might be the weakest link?
I want to be.
I want to be the weakest link in the room. I want
to be the dumbest person in the room and just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But
teach me. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, how have you done that? Why have you done it that way? And change your perceptions, your biases of things for someone to then go, well, no, I don't think what you're saying is right because of this, this, and this. And you go, didn't think of that.
Yeah. It doesn't make you a hypocrite either,
does it? And then you just go, oh, do you know what? Yeah, I'll change my mind on that, because actually you've shown me, you've given me evidence to show that works, and what I was chatting was just shit.
Macca.
And I'm like, yeah, sound.
I love it.
I'll admit when I'm wrong.
But it's not being a hypocrite though, is it? It's expanding your mind. People always go, oh, you've changed your mind, you hypocrite. No, that's not what a hypocrite is.
You should change your mind.
You have to change your mind.
Everything.
It's part of growth.
You want to surround yourself with people that are better than you. And naturally you'll get dragged up to that level. And then it's like, okay, who can I speak to next? Who can I learn from next? And just keep trying to better yourself. And it doesn't have to be for business or anything. It can just be you want to be the best version of yourself. And to do that, you have to find other people that are further ahead of you or have knowledge that you don't have that you want to gain. And you're only going to get it by asking and going, can you tell me how that works?
Do you think men are sort of like, oh, no, can't ask, don't want to look weak?
They can be. I think male-dominated areas can sometimes be toxic, where you can be seen as weak for asking a question. It can be seen as like, oh, you don't know anything, why are you asking questions? Rather than, oh, you want to learn something? Yeah, let's go through it. And I think we should be building people up and helping people and telling them how amazing they are, rather than going, you don't know that, you're fucking thick, you are. Yeah,
I think that as well. I think less window shopping, more charity.
Yeah.
Right? If you let people just share knowledge,
everyone's better.
If you let them window shop and you're just saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, there's only so long I can look at you without then start resenting you.
Yeah.
And that's where people get the common misconception, isn't it? That, oh, well, they hate me because they're not doing as well as me. No, they hate you because they hate themselves, because you make them hate themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting really resentful because you're showing them, hey, look, I made 50 grand this month. Buy my course that you can't afford, and I'll tell you sort of how I did it, but not fully. Please. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and they're going to the shops to buy food, and they're picking up a pack of mints and going, I don't know if I can afford that.
yeah, £6.95, then I
Yeah.
can have that. Do you know what I mean? We've all been there. But I think some people forget that they've been there.
Yeah, they do. They get, the ego gets too big and they get too far ahead themselves that they forget that there was a time in their life where they didn't have anything, they didn't know anything, and they should maybe go back and think, I've gone a bit too far away from the kind of person I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I need to do like a bit of a course adjustments and kind of redirect where I want to go.
I always say I will forever be a student. I'm constantly doing new accreditations. I've got 2 at the minute. So I'm doing one specifically in neuroplasticity, right? And then I'm doing a master's level of NLP. I'm like, I know everything here. Why am I redoing this course again? But on the off chance that I find one little thing that I didn't know,
It's worth all the
that's
time.
worth it, yeah. Because you're never, ever going to stop being a student in this world. We're all learning constantly.
You can always help someone.
100%. And it doesn't ever hinder you to help.
No, it doesn't. If anything, it makes you a better person. And you might give someone the leg up or something that they needed that then lets them absolutely thrive through life. And that little 10-second interaction you had with them was what did it. That was just what gave them that momentum to keep going.
Yeah. When was the moment where someone did that for you?
I think I've followed people online that have done it, or have maybe been in someone's course for a little bit where I've learned skills that maybe at the time I didn't realise what they were. It's just kind of gone in, rattled around for a bit, and then I've got to that point where I've gone, that. And it's like, I've understood what the learning was then, and then I've been able to take that and implement it.
What's the most inspiring thing you've ever heard?
You can't add time to your life, but you can add life to your time.
Oh, banger! Who told you that?
I can't remember. I think it was literally an Instagram thing, and it just hit. Because I've spent so long not living, and I've got older, and I've got like a realisation of
Mortality.
I've got a Grim Reaper tattoo on me, because I have a thing of like, my dad died young, so I'm like, I experienced death at an early age, and it kind of...
How old was your dad?
56.
Was it a heart attack?
No, he was ill for about 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
So we had TB, and then he just got really ill, and then it was Boxing Day 1999, and we were going to go and stay for us for the Christmas, and like knocking on the door, he wasn't coming down. Then he come down, said he'd been coughing up blood, went into hospital, and then a month later, gone.
I lost my dad young as well, so I do get that. It gives you a different sense of what mortality is, doesn't it? Because you don't ever think you're going to lose your parents before you become a parent. When you're growing up, you have this idea of like, I'm going to get older and I'm going to look after my parents. They're going to see my their grandkids and all this. And then when it doesn't happen like that, sometimes that in itself can make you spiral.
That definitely did when I was younger, because I was 16 when that happened, and I think I left home when I was 17. They were like a few dark years, trying to like work out who I was, navigate that, and then like slowly become like an adult. And being like that age was interesting. And then I just fucking ripped the bandage off it.
Yeah.
I was getting also like beaten up at home by like a stepdad at the same time, and then when my dad died, he left at the same time, the stepdad, and it was this like separation anxiety thing of, my hero's gone,
So's the
the
villain.
person that knocked the fuck out of me's gone.
Yeah.
I've been abandoned.
Do you think you were in that state then where the hero's gone, the villain's gone, and your brain goes, well, which one do I become?
In a way, yeah, because I didn't know what to do. I was just a bit lost.
You got no male role model then to look up
No.
to. Not that you would have looked up to the cunt that was beating shit out you anyway, but do you know what I mean? In a way, he's showing dominant masculinity, and then your dad's showing strength and endurance, getting through his illness, and you're there in the middle going, what the fuck? I'm 17. Yeah. What do I do? Like, I'm literally just trying to survive. What did you choose to do then? Did you go off the rails? What did you go into uni? What did you do?
I just got a job. And then just tried to, I guess, exist. I think I existed for a long time. I didn't really live. I was just floating through life, having little experiences here and there, but not really being who I wanted to be.
Mm.
And then I think it was the last couple of years as I've got older, I've kind of gone with that maybe realisation of mortality of you're kind of into your second half of your life now. And you're not in the best shape. So there's no guarantee you're going to get to 80, 90.
Mm.
So if you're going to do something, you need to do it now. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of now or never. If you don't do it now, you're probably not going to do it.
Wow. And that was it. That was just that switch of you've got to do it now.
Yeah, just went. And I was like, right, okay, let's do it.
How much weight have you lost?
I put a lot back on. I lost a load last year and put a lot back on doing my food relationship because I stopped doing it. But I'm probably 15 kilos down. My heaviest was 172.
Wow.
Which is like nearly 400 pounds. Big fucker.
That is a big fuck. I was going to say, all right, Eddie Stobart.
But that's on its way down. And then I think the other thing that I've realised is I've always done these like 6-week shreds and things, and it's like at my size, it's going to do fuck all.
It's going to do nothing.
So then you've got the disappointment because you get to week 6 and like the thing's finished and you're like, oh, I've not done anything. Like I look the same. Nothing's changed. And for me, it was the realisation of long term, if this might take 12 months, 18 months, 2 years to get where I want to get, and changing my expectation.
Yeah.
And the reality of it all was, I think, one of the key things of going, this won't be quick.
No.
And it shouldn't be quick, because if you try and do it quick, you're going to do it all wrong.
Like everyone that's on Mounjaro.
I'm quite pro GLP-1s. I think they can be really good.
Not
with
for
the
everyone.
right support.
Not for everyone.
Not for everyone, but I think for the right person with the right support around them.
Would you ever take Mounjaro?
I bought it once, but it didn't get delivered.
Really?
BPD lost it, and I was like, well, that's a sign not to take it.
Do you reckon?
I don't know. So I've not took it since, but I want to do it without
help.
I've had like loads of messages saying, take this peptide, do this, do that, take this, take that. And I'm just like, I want to show people that you can do, you don't have to take anything to do it. There are ways to do it quicker. Fine. I accept that. But I want to show that you can do it just normally.
Yeah.
And just being more active.
And not everyone can fucking afford Mounjaro.
No, it's expensive.
Yeah. I got it from the doctors. I've never taken it, by the way. It's still in the fucking fridge. So I had to reduce my BMI. I've got lipoprotein A. It's a heart condition. My dad had it too. That's why I was asked if you had a heart attack. And they said to me, you can have this to reduce your cholesterol. I never even took it. I thought, absolutely fucking not. I had a moment like you. I was like, no, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it now. Like, I'm not going to go and take something that might actually do more harm than good, because you don't know what they're going to do long term.
No, you don't.
When do you think little boys stop talking about their feelings?
Oof. Some do and some don't. I think it depends on the environment that they've grown up in. I think if they've had a loving and supportive environment, I think there is more conversations happening. There is more openness to talk about things. I think if you've not got that, I think you probably get to secondary school and you've got hormones flying through you. You don't know what's going on.
You're in
can
crazy
be a bit
town,
lost,
yeah.
And you start having to try and impress people. And that game then of like popularity and everything suddenly starts. It's like junior school, you're all just there as kids playing, making friends, and you kind of got that innocence to you. And then you hit like 11 and 12 and suddenly you get exposed to like the real world. And you in school you're called like a young adult and things like this. And I think if you don't have that environment at home, I think you stop talking about things. I think you keep stuff in and then probably learn that that's the way to be. So then you hit being an adult and you don't talk because you think, well, no one's going to listen to me, or I'm embarrassed by what I want to talk about, and that stops. And I think your environment is such a key thing to allow that to happen. And you see some people who have a really good life tend to have like a good like family background and things like that, and they're able to have them conversations without stigma and just talk about things that they're struggling with. And they're probably talking about it when it's such a small thing. Whereas if you don't have that small thing grows and grows and grows, and it becomes this horrible, nasty thing that you don't know what to deal with. And then you don't want to tell someone about it because you're embarrassed that when you open up and tell someone, they're going to go, fucking hell, what's up with you?
Yeah. When did you stop talking about your feelings, do you reckon? Obviously, you started again now. Nice one, by the way. It would have been a shit podcast episode if not.
I'm an open book now. I'll talk about anything.
Yeah.
I probably stopped when I was like late teens. I wasn't a very confident kid. Like I didn't have many friends in school and stuff, if any. I was like kind of hung around on the outskirts, so
Yeah,
I've always
yeah.
found that side of things difficult. I've not been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I've got the fucking tism.
Pretty sure I've got the fucking
Got the
tism.
fucking, but when I look back at like, it makes sense when I kind of, with retrospect and look back how I was, I kind of go, oh, that explains it. I just didn't know what it was. But I found being around people difficult, being able to talk to people difficult, like opening up conversations.
Relating to people is difficult, isn't
Yeah.
it? When you come from a background, especially where there's abuse involved as well, relating to people is hard. Because they're like, oh, do you want to come to my house? And you want to be like, yeah. But at the same time, you're like, but I might also get in loads of trouble if that happens. And you can't come to my house.
Yeah.
Ever. So it's one of them, isn't it? It's like, I can't relate to you, so I'm going to put on a persona to try and relate to you. But then I'm going to worry that you know it's a persona. So I can't let you get too close.
No. And that was a key thing. I had like, I guess 2 lives as a kid. When I was staying with my dad, like we would play out in the street and do things. But then when I was at home, like I didn't have friends at my mum's. So it was kind of, I always wanted to be at my dad's. And I had like there was one summer for the summer holidays where I stayed with my dad. And looking back now, I remember conversations of like, he couldn't afford to have me because he was on like disability benefits at the time because he couldn't work because he was ill. But it was like probably the best summer of my life. And I've got memories, like stupid memories to someone, they might go, what? Like,
go on.
So we went to, back in the day when you had VHS videotapes. And like I'm into, like I've got Star Trek tattoo, I'm into Star Trek.
Love
and stuff.
that.
And there was it's a Tesco Express now, but it was called Night and Day back then in the 90s. And the first 3 episodes of Star Trek Voyager were out on VHS, and we went to the little video store that was in it, got it, come back and watched it, and that is one of my absolute favourite memories of just me and my dad sitting there watching this thing that we enjoyed and just having that moment. And it's those kind of things that I didn't get enough of. I got like this taste of kind of experiences that people get to have with parents and things, and I just didn't get to do with my dad enough.
What do you mean enough though, mate? Because you only have your own perspective. You only have your own reality.
I guess I got enough with him, but there's kind of, I'd have just loved to have more time. I'd love to have had.
It's not that you didn't get enough; it's that you wanted more. You're like, I need more of this. This is the good stuff. Yeah,
like conversations about like his past, like who he was as a person, all of these kind of things. At that age, it just wasn't a thing really.
Yeah.
So I don't have that, and that's something I'd have loved to have been able to have conversations. And I think having that relationship with my dad, if he was still alive, probably a lot of things would have been different in my life because I'd have had that support, that person I could go to and sort of just openly talk about things.
And that person to sort of be like, look, this is who I was, this is how I changed my life, this is how you tackle X, Y, Z. Well, if it's any consolation, I think you're that person for a lot of people now. I think your dad would be incredibly proud because I think you are that person for a lot of people. I think people watch your page now, and even people that don't follow you because, they don't want to follow in case anyone knows that they relate to it. But like they're watching you and they're going, oh, that makes sense, yeah. Oh, so that's why your dick don't work. Oh, so that's why I feel this way. Oh, I'm not the only one that feels insecure about this. So there'll be a lot of little boys that are now little men or big men, as the case may be, that are watching your page whose dad also didn't have those conversations with him. And you're like a little internet daddy to him now. Maybe even put that in your bio. Everyone's dad. Daddy. Call me daddy. In fact, don't even DM me if it doesn't start with daddy.
Oh, I've had some DMs, Jesus.
I bet you have. Do you get the fetish people?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always get the Asian fetish people.
All right.
And I'm like, I'm not Asian. No, all the time. No, they're good, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, I think your dad would be fucking buzzing, mate. Imagine being able to like talk to him now and tell him what you're doing. What would you say? Like, how would you describe this whole thing that you're doing online?
I'd probably thank him for the love he gave me. I don't think I understood what that meant when I was younger, because I think I've always struggled with like emotions and things.
Yeah.
But now I'm older, I understand how important that was.
Yeah.
I just didn't at the time understand what it was. And I think I think I just tell them I've found a way through. I've found a door, I've found a key, I've been able to unlock it. Life feels really good. I'm able to experience things that I've always wanted to experience.
Madness. That would be lovely. Would you tell him that you've called your thing 300 Days to See My Willy?
Yeah.
Do you reckon he'd like that?
Yeah.
I reckon that'd be quite cool. So if anyone's watching right now and they're like, I need to start somewhere, but I don't know where to start, as their little friendly online dad, how would you advise them?
Just message me.
Oh, I love that. Just drop me a message, son.
Just message me. I'll speak to them. I'll ring someone. I'll video call someone. Like, if me giving someone 10, 15, 20 minutes of my time gives them power inside to go, yeah, I can do this. If that's what it takes, I'm okay with that.
I love that. I do that all the time. I'm always voice noting people. And there's other people in the industry, you know, the coaching industry, that are all like very regimented. They always say to me, it's a complete overstep of your boundaries if you just voice note them. And I'm like, mate, what? You think if someone voice notes you and they're like, I'm literally fucked right now, I just need to speak to someone, and you send them a link and say,
buy my course.
Yeah, buy my course. You're a wanker.
Yeah.
Mate, you've forgotten all about human race. You're in a race to get to the top. Just to let you know, guys, we all die. There is no top. So like, you're stepping on people in a very inhumane way, being like, you know, if you feel like shit right now, don't bother voice noting me, because I don't really care about how you're feeling. I just want your money. Yeah.
Because you've got a really shitty business mentor that told them this is the way to do things. Yeah. Get that 10k month.
Get that 10k month.
And fuck people over to do it.
Yeah. Step on heads. This is dog eat dog. Business, business. No, not if your business is humans, you bellend.
No, fucking lift people up.
Literally, you've got to take them with you.
Yeah.
Because eventually, if everyone takes people with them, it stops becoming a big weight. Everyone's just lifting everybody. So then what it is, eventually, is one big sexy conga line.
Yeah. Of everyone just having the best time, living the best life.
That's it. But it can't be that way, because we have to have that 50k month.
Don't want a 50k month.
Don't want a 50k month.
I'd rather just help someone.
Did you see that reel that I did a few weeks ago about the woman that was like, you could literally streamline this and have a 50k month? That's why I just said that. And I was like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many clients out of depression, out of anxiety, out of abusive relationships, out of anorexia, being able to leave the house after having agoraphobia for years. Why would I want a 50k month?
What if that person has been looking for someone that they can look up to or speak to, and they finally build that bit of courage to send you a message, and you just go fuck off, or you just ignore them?
Yeah, literally.
Like the damage that could do to them. They finally reach out and go, I'm going to do it, I'm going to message someone, and they just get ignored, or worse, you're trying to sell them something. The damage that could do to them, they'll never speak out again.
I'm always voice noting people to the point where it's annoying. I'm always voice noting people. Or they'll send me a big paragraph and I'll talk to them. And then, don't be wrong, after a bit I'll be like, right, you need to book in a consultation and you need to talk forward, right? There's still boundaries with it, because you can't just be Samaritans. Do you know what I mean? But on that, but I will always say to people, like, yeah, fucking hell, that's mad that. I can't believe you're going through all that. We'll voice note, we'll go back and forward. I only draw the line when people start belling you at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning off their head. And then I'm like, what are you doing, brother? Go and talk to Frank now. Yeah. Would you ever consider, after you've done all the weight loss stuff, actually going into being a male's mental health mindset coach?
Potentially. I think my goal is to help other people like me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just the weight loss, it's everything else that comes with it.
I'm saying a mindset, a whole mindset, because if you started it with, are you happy with your physical appearance? If the answer is yes, go behind. If the answer is no, okay, we're going to go behind anyway, but we're going to tick that off. You could have a whole different, very, very psychodynamic approach to how men can fix themselves and take control again. Because I think the way that you've done it is the right way to do it. And yeah, you had to go through fucking loads of hardship to get there, but didn't anyone that's ever been successful,
Mm-hmm.
You've had to sort of see it from every angle, try every, get thin quick approach in the meantime, try every mental health approach, even work in talking therapies yourself, to then realize, hey, I'm going to create a big metamorphosis and perhaps be the most successful and genuinely caring male mindset coach.
I had this conversation last night.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh.
And I was bigging someone else up who they'd shared something on theirs about like some wins for their business, and I was just like, it's fucking amazing what you've done. Remember where you came from.
Yeah.
And what gave you your vision to do that. And then I was like, and I want to make my own. I want to build this thing that just gives people a community, because in community is a massive thing, especially like we live in a world where everything's online, but there's not so much in-person connection. And to try and bring that, but to look at things as to lose someone who's like in a significant amount of weight, there's other areas of your life that need to be looked at first. The weight can wait. Literally, there's a pun there. The weight can wait. I could call it that. And what's your living situation like? Are you in a relationship? What's that like? What's your job like? What's your finances like? What's your mental health like? All of these things are going to impact on what goes on. And there's an amazing document called the Obesity Systems Map that ties all this together. It's a government thing that they commissioned, and it ties all of these different things: finances, psychosocial, where you've grew up, all of these things, and it shows how everything comes together and like where obesity comes from.
That's mad.
And it's all of those different areas that need to be worked on. And then once you've got that in a good place, you're going to be able to do the other stuff. You're going to be able to lose the weight, because you're going to have, life is going to be much better. You're going to have the brain space, the capacity, your home life is going to be better, your job's probably going to be better, that you're not worrying about all of these things, and you can just go, I can focus on the weight. I don't have to focus on these 17 things in my life that are going on.
Yeah.
I've got this one thing, and I can do that now.
Well, so that's, I mean, there's your basis. There's your basis. Oh, I'm excited.
So am I.
You're going to do fucking well. And I'll be able to say, I had Jamie on the podcast before he was famous. When you're done with your 300-day challenge, what do you think you'll have gained that has nothing to do with weight? Belief
in myself that I can do what I said I would, because
there's
a lot of not doing that in the past.
Yeah.
And I will be proud of myself. I believe in myself. I'll have built resilience to show that I can do anything I put my mind to. And I think they're probably going to be the biggest takeaways. And I think I'm going to be able to live a much better life. I'm going to be more mobile. Like, all of these things are just that's what's going to take it forward. It's not just 300 days. Like, I know it doesn't finish on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
It keeps going. And there's other things I'm going to want to do. There's other challenges in life I'm going to do.
Yeah.
This is the kind of
entry level,
the impetus to get it going. This is like me ramp up. And then when I get in a physically better position, I'm going to be able to do more things. And that's when I think it's really going to
100%
make a difference.
So it's gone from being a diet to being an actual lifestyle.
Yeah.
And do you think it comes from realising you've completed every other challenge in your life, and now you're like, fuck it, I'm actually going to embrace the fact that shit's challenging. I'm going to actually do things actively that are challenging now.
I think looking back on life, I can realise that like I actually can do things. I've had like loads of career changes. I am adaptable. I can put myself in a position and work my way out.
Yeah.
Maybe not as quickly as other people can, but I know I can do it.
You're versatile.
It's those things that are kind of, they give me the belief inside of, you've proven in the past you can do things.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself and keep doing it, because you can do it.
That's it. You need more losses than wins. Rack up those losses, because eventually when you get to that win, you'll be standing on a whole load of losses.
I wouldn't change a thing about my life, because where I am right now is where I want to be. I like who I am. It took me a long time to get there, but I wouldn't be who I am without the past.
Yeah.
So some of it wasn't fun, but it's made me who I am. So I'm like, I can accept that. I can
100%.
kind of square the past away and be like, okay.
What's next after this then? What do you reckon you're going to do next?
Change lives.
Oh, 100%. Once you change your own, that's it. Go out and sow the seed elsewhere.
I just want to give people belief in themselves, and if I just change one life, it's worth it.
That's it. Hope is a hell of a drug, but belief is the beginning.
Yeah, 100%.
I might get that tattooed one day.
Do it.
Props well. Do you want to get matching tattoos?
Yeah.
Love it.
Why not?
I think we should. I'll get mine across my... Should we get it across our tummies?
Do it for fun.
That's it. We'll do it to each other. I'll do... Have you got a missus, by the way, before this airs? Okay, good.
I am available.
No. Yes. I'm available, and I am only getting smaller, ladies.
And stronger.
And my willy works. Sometimes. This is Crying in the DMs. And of course, I've forgotten my paper, so I'm reading it straight from my phone. ADHD. Hi, Sara. I don't know where to start, But I'm honestly so embarrassed about this and I don't have anyone I can talk to. I'm 32 and I've put on a lot of weight over the last few years. Stress, work, no exercise. The usual excuses. But now it's actually affecting my relationship and I don't know what to do. Basically, my dick doesn't really work anymore. I can get hard sometimes, but not properly and not for long. Sometimes nothing happens at all. My girlfriend thinks it's her and I keep telling her it's not, but she doesn't believe me. I can see it knocking her confidence and it's killing me because she's amazing and it genuinely isn't her fault. The worst part is I know it's probably my weight, my fitness and my lifestyle. I used to take steroids and stopped and now I have droopy boobs. Instead of fixing it, I just feel embarrassed and avoid it, which obviously makes everything worse. I'm considering getting surgery, but I don't think that will fix what's actually going on in my mind. I get anxious every time we start kissing because I'm worried it won't work, and then because I'm anxious it definitely doesn't work and it's a vicious cycle. I feel unattractive, unhealthy, embarrassed and less like a man if I'm honest. I never thought I'd be a guy writing a message like this. Please don't put me on your social media, and if it goes on crying in my DMs, please keep me anonymous. I don't know why I'm asking, just needed to tell somebody because I'm too embarrassed to talk to my mates or a doctor. Jamie is your guy today.
He took the first step, he's told someone.
Yeah, do you reckon?
That's a start. That will definitely be a form of relief, and realistically it's the life changes that are going to have the biggest impact.
What would you advise him to start with first, now that he's told someone, he's got the ball rolling?
He could go and look at, there's pills and things he could try to see if they make a difference. If he's not, I mean, the steroid abuse potentially sounds like there could be hormone issues there, so maybe his sort of testosterone checked and things, because if that's through the floor, that's going to have a pretty significant impact as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think open up a conversation with his missus and like actually have it out and say, this is what's going on.
Yeah. Have you had to do that?
No, luckily.
What do you reckon? Because obviously he's going to be sat there thinking, I can't tell my missus this.
But he can. And if they're in a good supportive relationship, then they can work together on how to sort of navigate that. And there's other things they can do as well to enjoy themselves, but he needs to do something about it.
Yeah. And man to man, if he said to you, this has been my reality now, I'm probably not going to do anything about it, what would you advise his life's going to be like in like 6 months time, 12 months time?
Worse.
Worse. It's just not going to get better, is it?
And then likely potential relationship breakdown. And then there's the fallout from that, and then the impact that has on your life, and then what's going to happen next. You're probably going to end up eating more to
That's it, yeah.
feel better about yourself.
You end up splitting up.
Yeah.
Then you're in a vicious cycle. You end up shagging a kebab at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
It's that one.
And it's kind of, it's time to talk and take action.
That's it. Get in touch with your missus.
Yeah.
And then tell her you need to get in touch with yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe they could both work on themselves simultaneously.
They could.
He could get you as a coach and she could get me as a coach. We could all go jogging together down Sefton.
Yeah. Make it happen. That'll work. But it might help their relationship anyway by having, if they've not got a level of communication that's good, being able to address them kind of things is probably going to make a stronger relationship.
100%.
Because they can address other things that they've maybe been thinking about within the relationship or themselves, and then just everything gets better. And maybe by having that conversation and dealing with them things from a psychological point of view, the pressure releases and something else goes up.
The pressure releases, that's it. The valve!
Yeah, free willy.
I was going to say the vagina valve, but you beat me. This next one's quite funny, but viewer discretion. If you're offended easily, just turn the podcast off now. All right. Hi, Sara. I'm going to embarrass myself here, but it's too ridiculous not to share. So I met this girl on a night out. We got on really well, loads in common, good laugh, bit of flirting, and she suggests we go to the cinema the next night. This couldn't go badly at all, because this sounds like a lovely story so far, doesn't it? We've meeting a girl, we're going to the cinema. What could go wrong? I'm thinking nice, chilled, maybe even a little neck in the back row. Gentleman behaviour. Anyway, we go to the pictures, sit right at the back like we're 16 years old. Film starts, we're holding hands, bit of kissing, and then she gets a bit more adventurous. Here's where the problem starts. My body decided this was the exact moment it was going to completely betray me. Absolutely nothing happening downstairs. Dead. On holiday. Motorola. No signal. But she's very confident. She keeps on trying to be subtle under a jacket. And I'm sitting there and staring at the screen, pretending to watch the film, and suddenly panicking like, come on, mate. Don't embarrass me like this. Then across the screen comes a dog. I can't now. Not at the moment. Still nothing. Then she whispers, are you okay? And I, in panic, say the worst thing possible. Swear this never happens, darling. Must be you.
Oh.
So now I'm sweating, heart racing, trying to think of excuses. I said, I mean, you're too fit. You're far too fit for me. At one point, I pretend I need to go to the toilet to try and stand up in a cinema cubicle and have a motivational speech at my dick. I literally looked in the mirror and went, sort your life out, mate. You're a grown man hiding in view because your willy's gone shy. You shouldn't be shagging in view anyway. We went back in, sat down, watched the rest of the film like two colleagues on a workout in. She was really nice about it, but I've never concentrated so hard on a film in my life. Couldn't even tell you what happened in it, to be honest. I was trying to avoid any more situations. Kept my legs crossed like a flight attendant. Anyway, we still talk, and she's actually really cool about it. But a few months ago, I went out and saw her and her friends in town, and they all started shouting at me, "Viewy, Viewy!" And that apparently is what I'm known as and what I'm saved in as her phone. Any advice on how not to die every time I see her and her friends out? My dick got stage fright during a Marvel film.
Fuck them.
No, we can't. That was a problem.
That is the problem. I mean, maybe a mate. Maybe she's one of her mates and he goes, oh, actually.
Maybe one of her mates. That's your advice, Jamie. Shag her mates.
I'm intrigued what film was now.
Marvel film, he said.
I mean, Marvel's not the most.
He said Marvel film, but there's a dog that came across the screen. I reckon it was one of the Groots. Groot!
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy or something.
It's a Guardian of the Galaxy. And those Guardians definitely guarded his galaxy during that film. But I actually think it happened for a reason, because if they had have managed to have a little shaggy in the cinema, they could have got arrested.
Yeah.
Now that's not okay.
So his body was protecting him?
His body was protecting him. His penis was protecting him, because she's crazy.
It went on strike and it just went, nope,
no.
not happening.
Thou shall not jizz in the
And if
view.
there were kids in the toilets, he's on the sex offenders register.
Oh, fucking hell, it's gotten worse from here.
Yeah.
Now he's a pedo.
Now he's a pedo.
All because you wanted to have a wank in the view.
But then he could be president of America, so, you know.
Yeah, no, I think the best advice you could probably give that geezer would be, don't have a wank in the view.
Yeah. And they're not the most comfortable seats either, so your body's just... You're hunched over, so you probably restricted all the blood flow anyway. And your willy's just going, no, mate.
Where was the popcorn at this point? I'm saying, because when I go to the cinema, I have to have a popcorn and a nice slushie. You have to have them on either side. What she lifted that up? What you do? Have you got the slush in your hand at this point? Hi, Sara. I'm still not over this, and it happened 3 years ago. So I met this girl on a night out. We were both quite drunk, chatting, laughing. One thing led to another. She said I should come back to hers. I'm thinking, great, successful evening. We'll dip the dick. Well done, me. Sounds like my kind of guy, this. I'd have loved him in uni. We get a taxi to her house. We get there, she whispers, we have to be quiet. My parents are asleep.
Bit of risk.
Oh, a bit of risk. Not quite as much as having the wank in the view cinema.
No.
But
acceptable level of risk.
It's okay. Now, this should have been my first warning sign, but I ignored it because I was drunk, horny and optimistic. I actually reckon drunk, horny and optimistic is how I would have described myself for a good 15 years of my life so far. She's drunk, horny and optimistic. We sneak upstairs like burglars, trying not to make the stairs creak, and I'm in this girl's childhood bedroom, surrounded by One Direction posters and a lamp shaped like fucking Harry Styles. But at this point, I'm committed. We get into bed. I'm trying to convince her to take all the lights off, because as I'm... Oh no! As I'm underneath her, I'm staring up at Zayn Malik. Ah!
Wow.
Everything is very awkward and rushed because we're both paranoid about her parents hearing. Then suddenly we hear footsteps. Actual footsteps coming up the stairs. She freezes, I freeze, everyone freezes. Her bedroom door swings open, the light comes on, I'm lying there completely naked, making eye contact with her dad, wishing I was back staring Zayn in the face. This man just stares at me, stands there, looks at his daughter and goes, "Oh, for God's sake." Then he shuts the door and walks off. I've never felt my soul leave my body like that in my life, but it gets worse. In the morning, I have to walk downstairs to leave. Why did you stay?
Just go.
Just go, man. Just get in the taxi. Oh, you know what? Uber's a thing for this exact reason. Why did you decide to kippo? Okay, in the morning, I have to walk downstairs to leave, and both her mum and dad are in the kitchen eating toast like it's a normal Sunday morning. Her dad looks at me and goes, "Morning." I said, "Morning," back like I lived there. Then I had to sit and eat a piece of toast her mum offered me after she caught me sneaking out, which is easily the most uncomfortable meal I've ever had. As I went to leave, her dad shouted, "Oi!" I went, "What?" He went, "Don't forget to say goodbye to Zane." And I left, ran down the road, and have never returned. Deleted her off absolutely everything. 0 out of 10 experience. Would not recommend. I still think about her dad's disappointed face at least once a month, and I haven't been able to have a wank since. That's 3 years of not having a wank because someone's dad looked you in the eye. It's actually you that needs to get a grip.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Zayn Malik's not an ugly boy either.
He's a handsome man.
You could probably cheers to Zayn Malik if you tried hard enough.
I wonder if she changes the poster.
No.
Or just leave Zayn up there all the time.
Why was Zayn on the fucking roof anyway?
It's a different conversation. He definitely lights up our world.
That's it. Yeah, that's mad, that, isn't it? Imagine every night, Zayn. I'm going to have to get a Zayn Malik poster now.
Get him on the podcast and go, hey, get on this story.
Imagine. I have had some famous people message me to ask to come on, but one of them said, "I'll come on your podcast, but it is going to be $9,500." And I was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm actually all right, thank you."
What?
Yeah, I promise you. So obviously the podcast, it's quite. I'm very proud of the podcast because I have very different people on. Okay, I don't just have random celebrities on my podcast just to boost engagement because it's not about the engagement, it's about the message, right? And I thought that was quite clear, from the guests that I have had on. But I had this one woman message me who I would say is probably like an F-list celebrity. She's not a Z-list, but she's not an A-list. Do you know what I mean? And she messaged and she was like, "Oh, really love your podcast, really love your page." And I was like, "Thanks, thank you so much." And then she was like, "I'd love to come on." So I was like, "Oh, that'd be really good. Like, if you want to, you can." Like, because she has a background story of like domestic violence and things like that. I was like, "Yeah, we could talk about this. Like, that'd be really great." And then she was like, "Okay, I'll get my agent to send my fees over." And I was like, "I cannot pay your fees."
Wow.
There's no need, I'll stop you. And she was like, "Okay, I don't charge as much as other people. It's $9,000 and that'll get you all this, this and this. My editor can make some shorts out of it." And I was like, "I have an editor who doesn't cost me $9,000. Wow. I was like, "You do realise it's only 2 hours in the studio, like just to check. Like we don't do like a full weekend thing." And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh."
Bye.
Yeah, bye. And one of my other mates has got quite a big podcast. Like, she's doing really well. Proper fucking proud of her. And she actually messaged her the same, but told her that her told her that her rates were $4,500.
Oh.
So she actually just makes it up. Final crying in the DMs of the day. I hope you're ready. This geezer got caught red-handed. "Hi, Sara. I deserve everything that has happened to me, and I know that, but I still think this is one of the worst times of my life, and I want some advice on it." This is admitting it. "I had a girlfriend of 4 years. We lived together. We shared a dog. We shared Netflix. We shared everything. Proper adult relationship until we shared a sexually transmitted disease that I brought into the door. I'd been messaging another girl from work. Nothing had actually happened, but lots of messages were sent. Flirty, stupid, lots of 'what are you doing if you weren't with him' type messages. The sort of messages that would actually ruin your life if they got read out loud. Anyway, one night I fall asleep on the sofa and leave my phone unlocked. Fatal mistake. I wake up at about 2 a.m. and she's not next to me. I walk into the kitchen and she's sitting at the table with my phone in front of her like she just solved a fucking murder. She slowly looks up at me and goes, "Who is Sophie?" And my stomach fell through the floor. I said, "She's just a friend. It's nothing. You're overthinking. All the greatest hits." Then she turned the phone around and starts reading messages out loud, word for word, like she's reading the fucking news. I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me, but it gets worse. She's reading the messages, but I'd also sent screenshots of the conversation to herself, to her best friend, and to my mum, my own mum. So not only has my girlfriend found my messages, but my mum wakes up the next morning to screenshots of me flirting like an actual idiot and telling this girl to call me daddy. He must know you. Then she says a sentence that ended my whole career. "I've packed your stuff, you're leaving tonight." I slept on my mate's floor for 2 weeks before Sophie said that I could move in with her. I moved in with Sophie and we got together for about 4.5 weeks before I realised Sophie had a very, very nasty side. Sophie began pushing me around and screaming at me. We'd go to work in silence, car sharing, as I convinced her to let me... he's on about the ex. We go to work every day in silence, car sharing, as my ex-girlfriend had convinced me to let her have the car. After 5.5 weeks, I found myself homeless again, back sleeping on my mate's floor, and I had to explain to my mum why she received screenshots of me asking another woman if she wanted to sit on my face, and later from the same woman, in brackets Sophie, who I asked to sit on the face of. I told my mother I'd been hitting her, spitting at her, and abusing her. I'd done none of the above.
Safe to say, the worst decision I've ever made. I lost my girlfriend, my house, my dog, and my dignity, and spent 18 months making sure that I didn't go to jail for something I hadn't done. Although it was found in court that I was not only not guilty, but she was required to pay me because I've missed out time in work, all because I wanted attention from her and she wanted attention from the world. So anyone listening, thinking about sending a risky message or cheating, don't. You never know what somebody's like undercover, even if you work with them. Just go to sleep. Nothing good has ever happened after 11 p.m. and a locked phone. And if they're with somebody else and want you, there's a reason for that. Run.
If your eye is going elsewhere, there's something you're not happy with.
100%.
Have that conversation. If you've had that conversation and you're still not happy, just fucking leave. Like, end it. Don't be cheating. Don't be bringing other people into it. If you're not happy, that relationship is not going to continue.
No.
So cut your losses now. Do it in a dignified way. So there's going to be pain to it, but less pain than is being caused now. If he just leaves because he's not happy anyway, it doesn't happen. So his decisions have led to him putting himself in a scary place, really, because it could have gone to court and he could have been found guilty.
That's it.
And then he's in prison.
That's it. Cheating is caused to insecurity.
Yeah.
If you address those insecurities, you won't cheat.
Yeah.
If you won't cheat, you won't find yourself hoping the grass is greener and the grass is actually meaner.
Yeah. And if you're not happy with yourself, maybe don't get into a relationship until you are.
At the same time, that girl's a sick, twisted bitch.
Oh, yeah, she should be sent to prison.
Right, it's been fantastic to have you, Jamie. To be honest, you've been an absolute laugh, and I'm sure you've inspired a lot of people watching this today. Feel free to turn to that camera there and let them know all of your Instagram handles for those that want to follow you.
You can get me either at Jamie with 3_ Western, or if you search for 300 Days to See My Willy, that's the real account to go and follow.
Search 300 Days to See My Willy!
Because I want to see it.
You know what? I half want to see it now too.
There's been requests. I might do an OnlyFans for like New Year's Day. And
Do
just
an
be
OnlyFans?
Like, I'll just put it out there and just be like, if you want to pay, you can see it.
I should not be going along with this.
I'll just do it for fun.
I'm not even charging.
I'm charging.
It's an expose, it's for charity.
£9.99.
£9.99.
You can see it.
You should charge it higher than that.
Or we'll do a floppy and a hard one. £9.99 for floppy.
You're going to do a tier system on your own penis?
Yeah. Why not?
Fair play, man.
He'll have earned it.
He'll have earned it! Ah! See you next time on Crying on the DMs. And in the meantime, don't forget to get excited to see Jamie's penis. Good night, God bless. Fucking hell, man.